No, my first relationship, I knew when we met that it would never be what I wanted, and I created it like that too. And it took me 20 years to finally say, okay, no, this is not working for me anymore. But at least I recognized it and did something about it. So yeah, we all know, don't we, in our hearts, what's right and what's true. Yeah, I've really learned to follow the energy and ask questions. Questions are the key for me every day.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Relationship Done Different podcast. I am Rachael O'Brien and I am your host today. I'm a Relationship Done Different facilitator. And today I am joined by the beautiful Penny Tonkin. Hey, Penny.
Hey, Rachel, and I'm very honoured to be here. It's so much fun. So I love Relationships Done Different. So what can we create and tell people about today?
Well, what I would love to talk about, if that's what you'd love to talk about, is how learning the tools of the Relationship Done Different, how they have impacted and changed my relationship, and then maybe give people some tools so that they can actually get present with what they would like to have instead of ending up somewhere.
Yeah.
or ending up with someone that you're like, how did I get here?
Yeah, great. I love that. Well, that's cool. I might start with what's worked for me. One of the tools that I use every day is to always ask a question. We've always in school, we were always taught to have the answer and, go out and find the right person and marry the right person and have kids and get a house. Well, what if that's not true? What if that's not correct for you? And what if you can just have fun and ask a question today? What can I create today to have even more fun for me? So for me, relationships, the first thing that's the most important is my relationship with me. Before I can have a relationship with anybody else, I have to have one with me. And one of the tools I've learned is we have got 5 elements of intimacy. Now, I know when I grew up, I thought intimacy was like cuddling and having sex and all that. Well, that's not what intimacy is.
Yeah, I totally thought, for me, intimacy was like kissing and hugging and bodies coming together, but that's copulation and that's touch.
Yeah.
And bodies love to be touched. Yeah, thank you for clearing that one up.
Yeah.
And will we introduce people for people coming along and looking at their relationships and what they would like to have, will we introduce the pod and POC?
We would, yes. And I know when I first heard that, I went, what is that? So pod and POC, pod stands for point of destruction and POC is point of creation. So when we say pod and POC, we're actually clearing those points of view that you've created about whatever comes up. Yeah.
So for me, the pod and POC is a huge tool. And so just a little bit of a background on how come you should listen to Rachael O'Brien and Penny Tonkin. For me, I was severely abused as a young girl. And when I say abuse, we've all been abused in that we live in a world where energetic beings with bodies. And we live in a world where we're told to communicate through judgment and through this is right and this is wrong and this is good and this is bad. And so my primary relationships as a young girl were not based on honor, respect, valuing, trusting what I know, which is maybe what we'll talk about this. And so for me, honor, trust, vulnerability, allowance, and gratitude, we're going to specifically talk about one today because it's too much information to cover in a short podcast. And so let's look at, for me, I recreated the relationships that I grew up around.
Yeah.
So I grew up around a lot of trauma, a lot of drama, a lot of havoc, and there was absolutely no peace, no consciousness, which is receiving everything and judging nothing. And so I ended up with things that I would not like to have and relationships that I would not like to have instead of things that I would like to have. And relationship, and even myself and Penny's relationship, is about when the two of us come together, we have a capacity and ability to have more abundance and thrive. And that's actually the basis. That's actually the basis of Relationships Done Different, that your relationships support you to thrive and have an abundance of living and the wealth of living, instead of havoc and fighting and getting into a boat and not knowing if the boat is secure, or if your paddocks work, and literally swimming out in the middle of the sea, like blaming each other, you know?
So what tool would you give for that? Say you're in that boat and you don't know where you're headed. What would you say to that?
So where I started is, wow, what created this? How did I create this? It's actually, thank you so much, because it's my favorite access tool. And so if you're out there and you're in a relationship you don't like what you have. I suppose that's the simplest way to put it, that you're not enjoying, or you don't like what you have, and it always seems to be a problem. Ask, how did I create this? And people go, huh? How did I create it?
Yeah, we create our lives, everything that happens to us, don't we?
We do. And how did I create this is about receiving the unconsciousness. In other words, the lack of presence, or the unconscious point of view that you created this relationship from. And so for me, I just would fall in love, and that was it. I never looked at, is this what I would like to have? Does this have something that's going to support me to have a greater way of living? For me, relationship was just about survival. I'm going to be honest.
Wow. Yeah. And I get that too. I know my first relationship, I knew when we met that it would never be what I wanted. And I created it like that too. And it took me 20 years to finally say, okay, no, this is not working for me anymore. But at least I recognized it and did something about it. So yeah, we all know, don't we, in our hearts, what's right and what's true. Yeah. I've really learned to follow the energy and ask questions. Questions are the key for me every day. And one of the tools I would like to share is destroying and uncreating my relationships every day. And you think, what? Is that ending the relationship? No. Destroying that and uncreating the relationship is destroying your points of view, your emotions, everything that you've locked in place of your relationship previously, and it's allowing something new to generate. So every day you can ask questions. What can I create today with this relationship? So I do this every day with my relationship, with my business, my son, my partner, my dog, just even people, my mum and father. So it's a great tool to use, and things do change. Yeah.
It's so funny, because what you're addressing, there's two parts that I'd love to address that you talked about. You talked about destroying and uncreating your relationship. And basically, as you said, it's all the points of views that we've built up, the judgments, the decisions. And so if I have a grudge, or you said something to me that didn't honor me, it's like destroying and uncreating all the points of views, everything that I have decided, destroy and uncreate all the judgments about who I am, about what this is. And what it creates is like a blank space where you can start again. And it's such a wonderful gift. And the second thing you talked about, so if you're listening to this podcast and you're like, what's wrong with being in a relationship? Penny was in a relationship for 20 years that didn't work for her. Myself, I was in a relationship for 19 years. And there's nothing wrong with the dad of my kids, so there's nothing right about it. Now I just see that we were two children that came out of a lot of havoc, a lot of unconsciousness, and we created the exact same relationships that my parents had. And it's so funny, because the dad of my kids, his dad was away working for his whole childhood. I grew up without a dad. and so we came together, and we actually weren't even present with each other, and there was a lot of love. There genuinely was a lot of like love for the other person, and genuinely, it's like we couldn't be in that peace. Or there was so much shit with money, and there was so much shit with having kids, and there was so much lack of presence. And I would say we lacked presence and education in how to deal with daily living, how to deal with money, how to deal with the business of having a family, because it is a business, and how to deal and how to deal with things that would show up with our children on a daily basis. So as such, we were like fighting the insanity of this reality instead of getting really present with what we would like to have. And that's the difference with RDD that you just said. You said, I got into a relationship for 20 years and I knew I wasn't trusting me. So let's kind of segue into the trust from you bringing that up. And so it's where for me, I didn't really want to get married, but I did want I'm going to say the fantasy,
the norm.
Yes, yeah. And for me, it was like, oh, if I get married, everything is going to be beautiful and everything will work. And it wasn't the case, you know?
Yeah. I know.
It was
fantastic.
And I'd say for him too, it was really tough. It was really, really, really tough, you know, because I certainly wasn't present. I certainly wasn't happy, I would say like 80% of the time. And so these two people that didn't know how to generate a living in a way that was peaceful and supported that expansion and supported that thrival and that abundance. As such, we were just living according to this reality's rules and regulations, and nothing was working. And so maybe we start there, Penny, about so if you have had relationships that you didn't like and they didn't fulfill, there were judgment, separation, drama, confusion, no care of bodies, and it's like just fighting a war every day. You can ask, how did I create this? And
you can.
And you can pot and
pod that. Yeah, all of the things that come up, all of the judgments that you've created, and then ask a new question. So what can I create today with a relationship? Or if you not in one, what would it take for me to find a great guy, if that's what you're after? Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so cool. What if we ask people to play with this? One of the tools Gary Douglas gave me, I'm pretty sure it was in 2019. Gary Douglas is the founder of Access Consciousness, and Access Consciousness is Relationship Done Different, is the application of the tools of Access Consciousness to relationships, because it's such a huge topic. And so one of the things he asked me to write down is the things that you'd like to have in a relationship and the things that you would not like to have, you know?
Yes, that's the best, isn't it? It's so much fun. Yes, writing out what you would desire in a relationship and what you don't want, and get really clear on that.
Yeah, so you can pause the recording right now and you can write the things that you'd like to have, like the person to have, and the things that you would not like them to have. And write it, like for me, my list, I did it again yesterday: allowance, gratitude. I have it here.
Oh, look at you. I love it.
I know. I'm such a geek, like, you know. Gratitude, independence, willingness for growth and change, peaceful living, love bodies, and two people increasing the capacity to thrive.
Beautiful. Love that list. Yeah. So what do you not want? Or not say want, what do you not desire?
So what would I not like to have? Oh, the reason we say not to have not what you want is because want has so many definitions there, and they're about lack. So it's about lacking. So what I would not like to have is judgment. Okay, the person judging me, because all judgment is a separation and it's abuse. Money problems. Okay, someone who has massive money problems because they bring all that drama and lack of presence into a relationship. Family drama. Now we're down to 1% of the population.
Let's not have any conclusions about this, Rachel.
Trauma, confusion. I have trauma, confusion, and no presence with bodies. There we go. Yeah.
Fantastic. I love those. They're
Mm.
amazing.
Mm.
Well done. That's so good.
Yeah. And
I
isn't
do
it
have my list,
beautiful?
but it's not here.
Well, I was just going to say to you, isn't it beautiful with your tool that you gave Destroy and Uncreate and Pod and Pock, everything that my
Yeah.
relationships were?
Yes.
What I noticed is when I went down through my list, because you said something earlier, your primary relationship is with yourself. I asked, am I willing to be all those things for myself?
And are you?
No, I still have work to do.
Okay, cool. Well, it's great that you can acknowledge that and you can choose to work through it if you wish. The choice, hey?
Exactly. And so this tool is a beautiful tool. So you don't blame what's shown up. How did I create this? Oh, I created this because I grew up with a lot of judgment, a lot of separation, a lot of money problems, a lot of family drama, a lot of trauma, a lot of confusion, a lot of the right way, to life. And then you can actually start again fresh today.
Yeah.
You don't have to judge your past choices.
That's right. What can I create today? Universe? Yeah, love asking that. Yeah, just trying to create relationships and then, okay, universe, what would it take for me to create an even better relationship with me first? Yeah. Totally trusting me.
Okay, I was just about to ask you this. For someone listening and they're really looking to change the way that they be in relationship, they might be having a toxic relationship with the son or a boss. I see a lot of people that have bosses that are judgmental, separating. What would be the tool that you used that changed your relationships?
Trusting myself and really honoring my awareness. I would say that trust, because trust was a thing that didn't work for me in relationships in the past. So I've really learned that I have to trust me and trust my knowledge, trust what I know. And that's, it's been a big thing for me, the big trust. So so I really acknowledge that I do trust myself and what I know. And I just keep asking questions and just go with my awareness.
It's so funny when we say trust, we don't mean trust what the person says or trust.
Oh no.
We mean that if your mom is fighting yesterday and she's fighting 10 years ago and she loves to fight, and by fight we don't mean physically fight, we mean fight with her point of view and look to be right. So if she's going to fight yesterday and she fought 10 years ago, she's going to fight today. And so
you can trust in that, hey?
You can trust you can trust in that. And also you can trust in the energy of each situation. So when you walk into a room and if there's an energy of anger or hatred, you can trust that that someone has an energy of anger and hatred in that. And then you can, exactly. So when you're functioning from awareness, you're not willing to cut off your awareness of, some people, Gary Douglas says, some people will kill you, some people will hurt you, some people will help you, and some people will contribute to you massively,
Yeah, that is very true, hey? Yeah. And you can pick up on that energy as soon as you meet somebody. Well, I can, sorry, not everyone can, I suppose, but that's one of the gifts that I've got. But it's that energy, it's reading their energy and where they're at. You can pick it up from somebody in the split second as to where they're at.
It's so funny, we're not educated or we're not invited to trust ourselves and to trust our knowing. And one of the big things for me with the Relationship Done Different is I wasn't even, I'm going to say, invited in any way to trust what I know and to trust the energetics of what I know in relationships. And so for me, my growth and my evolution of trusting what I know and trusting the energies has been a continuous, and I still have lots of work to do on this, has been a continuous reach for what is true for me here and what do I know here. And if, let's say, if I have someone in my life who loves to fight and loves to be right and loves separation and judgment and drama, then I can actually recognize that this person's purpose, you know, what is their purpose with their words or their actions? Their purpose is to create separation and judgment. And it's not personal. Like, my favorite tool is, you said it, like, it's the space of receiving all information. My favorite tool is receiving, and receiving doesn't mean you lock it into your body, but it's being aware of all the information. And actually, and so if I have someone that I work with continuously, like me and you come together, we're not interested in fighting. We're interested in, well, I'm going to ask you, what's the most important, you know, the things that you'd like to have. What are the most important things for you in the world, in your daily life? What are the most important energies that are priority for you now?
For me, it's having fun, being happy. That's how I live my life every day. I have to have fun and be happy, because that generates and creates so much more for me. Also, having relaxation, it's a really great tool I use as well. But yeah, how much fun can I have today, and how happy can I be? So,
can I ask you what makes you happy?
What makes me happy is going down the beach and walking, or just laying on the sand, receiving the energy of the earth. I really love that. That's probably one of my top ones, being happy. Also, just being around people like my friends that we laugh with. You know, a lot of people can bring you down with their energies, and so I choose my people I hang out with to be fun.
That's really beautiful. That's the support of the lightness and the fun and the play. And anything else you would like to add, or any takeaways?
Look, there's so many takeaways. Gosh, I mean, what would it take for us all to create a conscious relationship? You know, and you go, what is that? What is a conscious relationship for you? So, no, I'm not going to go there. That's too big. That would be one of the things I would love to create in my life.
And conscious is receiving everything and judging nothing. And I'm going to say this again, I still have work to do in my relationships, because I meet myself every day where I'm trying to control someone, or I have some need of reaction. And that's okay too, but we'll keep going. We are experts in what we don't like to have, and now we are really
Great.
And now on a daily basis, I get up and I really take a look at what is it that I would like to have, and what is it that I would like to build, and what's relevant for me, and what really brings that fun, laughter and joy of being alive into my life. So thanks for joining us today. Penny, thank you so much for being here. We'll leave your details in the show notes. And
thank you so much, Rachel. I've truly enjoyed this. Yes.
You're so welcome. You can find Penny in, what city are you in, Penny?
Yeah, I'm in Adelaide, South Australia.
That lady is in South Australia. And yes, what choice can you make today to create the relationship with you and others that would allow you to have that sense of being alive and life being a gift to you?
Beautiful. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thanks so much. Bye.
See you.
Bye.